Have you ever told your tech that something is broken and all they've done is asked you question after question after question? And then they've come back and given you a wrong answer anyway. Does that sound familiar? Well, today we're going to be talking about why that might keep happening and how you can make it happen less. Welcome to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and I'll break them down into bite-sized tips you can use straight away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and Shine. It's your business tech boost with me, Charly Leetham. Episode number 674. It is Mindset Monday, and we're going to be talking about communications gaps between you and your technical people and how you might be able to bridge those so everyone is a little less frustrated. Let's start with some of the basics here. The thing that I see a lot is I will get someone come to me and say, this isn't working. And the first thing I'll do is go back and say, what do you mean it's not working? And that's where the frustration starts. I can see the frustration starting on behalf of my client, my customer, even my friend who's asked me to help them. Because the first thing I've done is not, okay, let me try and fix this for you. It's ask them a question, and to them, it's a dumb question. What do you mean it's not working? I want to try and explain why that happens and how maybe by the end of all of this, you'll understand how you can help your tech help you better. And if you're a tech listening to this, where your customer might be at when they're telling you all these things. IT systems are complex systems. They're really complex. And when something goes wrong, the place you see the problem isn't necessarily the place where the problem actually is. I want you to think about it a little bit like a human body. Let's think about your knee hurting. You might go to your doctor and say, hey, my knee hurts. Now, a bad doctor might poke around your knee, find nothing obviously wrong, send you home with some painkillers, or they may send you off for a whole heap of tests that maybe those tests cost you a lot of money, but they end up being inconclusive. A good doctor, though, they're going to ask you a whole heap of questions before they even start poking around, before they even start doing some tests. They're going to ask you things like, when did it start? Were you doing anything differently? Have you changed your shoes? Did you hurt yourself recently? Maybe you twisted your ankle. Maybe you wrenched your hip. Because here's the thing, your knee might not be hurting because it's your knee that's hurting. It might be that your hip is out of alignment. It might be you rolled your ankle and now you're walking differently and putting extra strain on the knee. It's not the knee that's the problem. The knee is just where the symptom is showing up. IT systems work exactly the same way. You click a button and get an error, but that error might be caused by something 3 layers deeper in the system. It might be a database connection, it might be a permission setting, it might be a plugin conflict, something that hasn't updated overnight or something that did update overnight, as we're seeing, and is breaking things. The button isn't broken. The button is just where the symptom is showing up. So when you tell your tech support people, hey, it's broken, that's like walking into a doctor. It's a bit like walking into a doctor and saying, hey, it hurts. It's true, it's accurate, but it's not enough for them to actually help you. Those questions that they're asking, they're not being difficult. They're trying to diagnose. They're trying to figure out if this is actually a knee problem or if they need to look at your hip, your ankle, your shoes, or something else entirely. Maybe it's the way you've been walking lately. Okay, so it's all good and well for me to sit here and bang on about how a doctor will diagnose a problem with the human body and then try and draw that analogy to an IT system. An IT system, IT in general, is a series of complex systems. There's not just one complex system. It's normally a series of complex systems that are chained together. And when someone comes to me and says, hey, this isn't working, I don't have that full picture. Here's an example. Someone might come to me and say, hey, my email's not sending. And I might go, What do you mean it's not sending? And what I'm really asking there, and I need to ask better questions. That's one thing that as techs we need to learn is we need to ask good questions and not dumb questions like that. But when I ask that question, what I'm asking is, well, does it mean that when you hit the send button, what happens? Does nothing happen? Does it just not do anything? Does the email still sit on the screen and not go at all? Does a dialog box pop up and say something to you but not disappear? Does the email actually go into the outbox but not leave the outbox? Does it leave the outbox and not get to the recipient? So many different things that one thing can mean, and that's where my brain goes to, because I've got an experience on the other side of all of this as to what that statement might mean. I don't have the experience and I don't have the perception of sitting in front of the computer at that point in time experiencing exactly what my client is experiencing. So, not only do techs need to ask better questions than they generally ask, and I'm in that bucket, I need to ask good questions. As customers, we can get better customers too, and I'm going to put myself in that bucket because I am terrible. So I think it's, what do they say? Doctors make the worst patients. Techs make the worst customers, because I'll bring up saying and it won't work, and I'll just go off and go, I'm doing this, it's not working, make it work. And I need to slow down and take my own advice in this. How do we get better at reporting problems? Well, actually, before I even go to that, let me explain a couple of other things too. When we put in a problem on a help desk in general, it's not always the case. But most support companies will have a series of things that they need ticks in boxes for before a problem can progress in their queues. So you might find that you'll report a problem even with all the good information, and you'll get what we call a canned response back. Now, in the day of now that we're into AI and AI support agents, some of this will be run by AI, and they'll be looking at your problem, and they'll be checking it against a knowledge base, and they'll say, well, I need to ask these questions. Whether those questions are answered in the email or not, or answered in your support request, they might not actually see it. They may not be programmed to look at it. If it is actually a human, they may have just been taught, and they may have just been told that when you get a question in, when you get a report in, you must go back and ask these questions, not read the email, see if these questions are answered in the email or the support request. You must go back and ask these questions, and they're trained to do it. So we need to have a little bit of patience and grace when that happens. But how, as customers, can we do a better job at reporting our own problems so that we can make that go a bit quicker? Well, there's a few things we can do there. Being specific about what we're doing. Hey, I'm on Windows, if you can get the version number, version X. I'm using this application. I went to send an email. I hit the send button, and this is what happened. Now, describing it in words is okay, but it's really difficult at times to convey the exact situation. So there's a couple of other things we can do. We can take screenshots of what's happening. We can take screenshots of the screen when we're trying to send the mail. We can send, I'm going to use sending email, or, when we're trying to do what we're trying to do. We can take a screenshot of the error messages that are coming up. I am going to sort of say that they're helpful, but they need to be in context. And if you're going to take a picture of an error message, just taking the picture of the error message might be helpful, because we can actually see what the error message is. It's easier to read, but we still need the context around when did that error message occur and what else was on the screen when that error message occurred. So just bear that in mind. If you're going to just do the error message, maybe do a bigger shot of the screen as well. So take screenshots and add them if you can. I personally prefer very quick screen recordings. Hey Charlie, just to show you what we've got is going on here. Here it is. Here's the screen recording of what I'm trying to do. It doesn't have to be long. You don't have to talk at all. You can just, move your mouse around very slowly. Show me what you're clicking on. Show me what happens. And then if you need to, in words, explain it. In typed out words, explain it, especially if you don't want to talk on a video. I totally get it. So the thing that we can do that really, really helps our tech support people and helps me service you better, give you better support, is to be specific and provide that context. Don't just assume that because it's happening on your screen and it looks so obvious to you that the person that you're reporting it to is going to understand immediately where you were at. The person you're reporting it to is probably working on something completely different. They've probably got a completely different screen open on their computer, and then they have to stop and think about, what are you using, what application, where in the process were you at, what was going on. And if you can short circuit that for them, it's going to make your life so much better. So it is a communications issue, and it's a communications issue on both sides. As customers, we can provide more information, and honestly, provide as much information as you can. Providing more information than is needed is probably better. Just don't get too overwhelming. Don't give tomes and tomes of information. Texts don't read a lot. They like things dot pointed and summarized in general. That's my experience anyway. But we can provide more information, and as techs, we need to learn to ask better questions. We need to sit down and think, okay, how do we speak to our customers and ask these questions and not just say something like, what do you mean it's not working? Because trust me, I know how frustrating that is. I have seen the responses I get to that question, like, what do you mean it's not working? I've seen my customers come back to me and say, it's just not working, Charly. What do you mean what do you mean? What do you mean it's not working? I get it. It's really frustrating. So what sort of tools can you use? Because I've talked about, getting screenshots and doing screen recordings, and it can be quite overwhelming. There's a couple of really cool tools, a couple of free tools. I'm not sure they're cool tools. I like them occasionally. There's Loom is really, really good if you want to do quick screen captures. There's a free tier. You can go and create an account, do the screen capture, the recording, send that off in an email, and it's all handled for you. I'm currently looking at Zoho Annotate, which is a extension for the Chrome browser. I'm sure it's on Firefox as well. And that seems reasonable. That will let you take screenshots and take videos and annotate them and send them off. If you don't want to sort of go into the web and use those sorts of tools, Windows has the built-in Windows Snipping Tool, which I understand is Windows key Shift S, I think, unless it's been remapped on your system, and then I couldn't tell you. But the Windows Snipping Tool, just in your search bar, put Windows Snipping Tool, it will bring up a snipping tool that will allow you to do a screen recording or a screen capture. And my Apple devices also have their own snipping tool. I don't remember what the commands, I'm looking at my notes here. I don't remember what the commands for that is, but Macs also have their own built-in tool. A couple of things that I should point out. Well, actually, first of all, before I point those ones out, if you're on a mobile phone, if you're on an Android or a iOS device, they also have built-in screen capture and screen recording tools. Use those to your best ability. Record your screens, send them off. Honestly, it helps so much. Couple of things that we do need to point out here. If you are in something that's got sensitive data, if you're trying to work in something that's got sensitive data and you're going to do a screen recording, make sure you're not sending that sensitive data across the internet, that recording. If you need to, I would at that point just do a series of screen captures. I would blank out all the sensitive data so that it can't be read, it can't be seen, and send that. If you've got a few minutes and you feel like you've got the skills to do it, you should be able to do a screen recording and then also blank out that data, but that does take a little bit more time. So just be aware that even though I'm saying provide as much information as you can, even though I'm saying do screen captures and do screen recordings, I'm also going to say to you, be safe and don't share sensitive information that way either. You don't know whose eyes are going to be on it. Once it goes into a help desk system, you don't know whose eyes are going to be on it. So just be a little wary that way. The other caveat that I have to say is particularly on Android devices, I don't know about Apple devices, and I'd love to know if iPhones and such do the same thing. But on Android devices, if I try to record my password manager screens or sensitive personal information screens, it blacks it out. It won't let me record it. It is actually a function within the Android device or within my It might just be within the Galaxy software as well that does it. And it's a pain in the neck because sometimes I just need to be able to show this is what I'm doing. No, you're not allowed to show that screen. We're going to blank it out. We think that's a security issue, and we're not going to let you record it. So just bear in mind that also occurs too, and you can't even do a screenshot because it does the same sort of thing. So at that point, it really is you're going to have to rely on describing it in words, and hopefully someone can reproduce it for you. All right, look, I've rabbited on this one. It was a slightly difficult one for me to do because I had so much I wanted to get in, and yeah, anyway, rabbited on. I would love to know, have I asked more questions than I've answered? Have I helped you out at all with this one? What is it you do when you're reporting problems? How frustrated do you get when you get what seem to be dumb questions coming back to you? And how do you handle that? What sort of dumb questions do you get? I'm interested in that as well. What sort of dumb questions do you get that really frustrate you, so that I can try and improve that process for myself as well, because that's where I learn. I'd love to know your thoughts. I'd love to know whether things have worked for you, haven't worked for you, where those frustrations are. Leave comments wherever you're watching or listening to this video. If this was of any use to you at all, or entertaining, or whatever it is you want to think, please give it a like. I'd appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you find out when I drop more content. Remember too that if you want a hand with any of this sort of stuff, I offer a free 30-minute breakthrough session. I'll offer you as much value as I can in that 30 minutes. If you've already used your breakthrough session, come and book a session with me. It will cost you because you've had your free one, but I am here to help people. Ask charlyleetham.com to book your breakthrough session. Hit the button at the top right-hand corner, and that will take you through to the booking form. All right, guys, that was Mindset Monday. I'm going to be doing a Redux version, an on-call version of a walkthrough Wednesday this week. I'm off having some surgery, so I'm going to take it a little bit easier. So I won't see you on Wednesday, but I will see you on Friday. Bye. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.